When Dr. Bonus and I started our experiments in the mid-1970s, there were maybe 50,000 articles on glutathione in the medical literature. Today, there are at least 3 times that many, the gist of which is summarized elegantly in the new edition of Dr. Gutman's book on glutathione. It's a fabulous book, not only because I saw my name in it, but because it is so readable and comprehensive, and I thoroughly recommend it. Now, back to the 1970s. As most of you know, we found that a specially prepared whey protein isolate, now called Immunocal, when fed to mice, enabled them to make a stronger immune response, and they also showed greater resistance to infections like Salmonella, which is food poisoning, or pneumococcus. And in addition, these mice were protected against developing cancer, and they lived longer. So there was an anti-cancer, anti-aging effect as well. Now, all these findings were very exciting, but we didn't know what in the Immunocal was responsible for these effects. Then by chance, one day, Dr. Bonus happened to be talking to a colleague in the Department of Surgery where he worked at McGill, who said to him, "I think we're looking at glutathione." We had never even heard of glutathione. However, we soon learned that glutathione is a very important substance found in every cell in the body, in the plant and animal kingdom, even in microorganisms and fungi. And it has multiple functions, and as we learned later, it's especially important for the immune system. And we showed that mice fed Immunocal indeed had not only an enhanced response, but also they developed increased glutathione levels in their tissues, while the control mice fed a placebo diet did not. And later on, Dr. Lanz extended this finding to humans. He showed that when healthy young adults were fed Immunocal for 3 months, the glutathione values in their lymphocytes rose by 35%. Now, glutathione is generally made inside the cells from 3 amino acids. 2 of them, glutamine and glycine, are plentiful in the body and in the food we eat. But the third one, cysteine, is not. It is easily damaged by heat or mechanical stress, so is mostly the best sources are raw foods, raw meat, raw eggs, raw milk, and so forth. So it's the availability of cysteine that limits the ability of a cell to make glutathione. Very important. Now, Immunocal is a rich source of cysteine. So the explanation of our findings was that Immunotech provided the cysteine needed to make glutathione, and this enabled the immune system to reach its full potential. Now, as I've already indicated, glutathione carries out many vital functions in the body. First of all, it is the master antioxidant. We all know about the importance of antioxidants, and many people take supplements like vitamin C or vitamin E, or eat foodstuffs rich in antioxidants like blueberries, or drink red wine, which apparently has lots of antioxidants in it. But by far the most important antioxidant in the body is glutathione. Now, the reason we need antioxidants is because there are a number of oxidative species continually being produced in the cells, and these are commonly called antioxidants or free radicals. These are highly reactive and will damage a cell component in a matter of microseconds if they're not inactivated by an antioxidant, usually glutathione. which then gets regenerated. So when the number of free radicals is high, and there's not enough glutathione to take care of them, this leads to what we call oxidative stress. The cell functions poorly and may even succumb. You may wonder where these free radicals come from. Well, in order for a cell to carry out its particular function, it must metabolize foodstuffs like glucose in order to generate energy. And in doing so, these oxyradicals get spun off, so to speak, as an unwanted side effect. So that is one source. And there are many other sources of free radicals I could mention. For example, those produced by external influences such as sunlight on the skin or X-irradiation. Now, the immune system is very sensitive to low glutathione levels and functions poorly under these conditions. It's needed to make many of the intricate steps involved in generating an immune response. Too many to mention, but I will give you some examples. First of all, the lymphocytes must multiply in order to produce an immune response. A single cell develops into as many as 500 daughter cells, forming what is called a clone. So now the body will require 500 times as much glutathione. In the case of one lymphocyte, the B cell, it will then make lots of antibody to take care of the infection, again needing glutathione to do so. And another type of lymphocyte called a killer T cell will attack and destroy virally infected cells, but it cannot do this unless it has sufficient glutathione. And for any inflammatory condition, whether acute, like an infection, or chronic, like rheumatoid arthritis, there will be many free radicals produced. I have read somewhere that on average, a lymphocyte uses up to half of its glutathione in 5 to 6 hours. Another point is that glutathione can also directly inhibit the replication of viruses. I recently read an article saying that glutathione deficiency is the most plausible explanation for serious illness and death in COVID-19 patients, and recommending the use of glutathione for treatment and prevention. Another important function of glutathione is detoxification. It is your major detoxifying agent. The glutathione combines with toxins and forms water-soluble compounds, which are then eliminated through the urine or the feces. One point I should mention that in this case, the glutathione is not regenerated, but is lost from the body, so there's always a need for replenishment of cysteine to make glutathione, especially if the body is dealing with a toxin like mercury poisoning, for example. Much of the detoxification is carried out in the liver and kidneys, so there's a lot of glutathione found in these organs. And lack of it can lead to poor liver function and damage to cells and organs of the body if the toxins build up in the circulation to a sufficiently large amount. Now, where do these toxins come from? Well, some are acquired from external sources like the air or water pollutants, cigarette smoke, heavy metals like mercury, household cleaners, and so forth, many. Another source is from drugs. Almost all drugs bind to glutathione prior to removal. If you were to take 4 extra strength one day, this would in fact consume up to half the total cysteine that you would normally consume that day. Other toxins are produced by the body, such as hormones, estrogen, and so forth. So, to conclude briefly, glutathione is your body's most important antioxidant, detoxifying agent, and needed to support the immune system to allow it to reach its full potential. So taking Immunocal has many benefits. I rather like this quote. The glutathione status of the cell is probably the most accurate single indicator of the health of the cell. As glutathione levels go, so will the fortunes of the cell.